I'm Amanda, Program Director here at the Senior Center in Milford, Connecticut. We have a rainy day here today, but that's good for the grass. Have a lovely morning this morning, traveling through Italian culture with Miss Anna.
Thank you, Amanda, and let's start to have a good time. Oh, thank you. Look at some lady sitting a nice picture of ourselves. So nobody is around but my flowers, you and I. And we're going to put down the mask so we can be together, sometime together. All right, so buongiorno a tutti. Thank you so much for being together. Thank you for having, in Italian they will say quattro chiacchiere. I don't know why, only four, but four chats together. One Italian expression is we're going quattro chiacchiere, four chats. So what today four chats are going to be? Well, yesterday, usually I was doing something. Usually on Wednesday I go see my one group of grandchildren. I have seven. There is a one group is 14 and 11 years old. Another group is can you imagine? Whatever we're doing today goes back into the time. When there is this group and we go and pay respect, we kind of leave them out of our research. The Irish tribes are all over. There are so much all over. Catholic people among us, okay, but it's everybody. But there are in the New Testament the letter from St. Paul, the letters to the Galati, is he refers, he writes to the group of these Irish people that were around what is today Israel. Okay? Just to tell you how they were everywhere. Even St. Paul wrote a letter to them. Okay, let's go back to the beginning of the tradition of Halloween. With these people, they celebrated, they saw summer, it was abundant, it was beautiful, everything was green, everything they could eat as much as they want. Sudden, almost overnight, all the leaves go down, everything gets brown, the soil, the earth is very hard. You cannot put anything, everything is there, but you cannot really, I can see I walk in my garden, it's so hard already. You cannot do anything. So they thought there must be a change. So they were celebrating what was called Halloween, which is, it was called Halloween, but for them they will call it Soul-in, which is the celebration of a new time. The seasons were divided into summer and winter. So they saw the big, great time of summer, and now they saw this other time of not dead. It was like a time of meditation. They learned that things will come back soon, but right now it was like a time to be quiet. What we will say today to shut our mouth and look around. So, what they did, they celebrate a new year, expecting a new time in few months. So they had their own place. The priest was called it all in white, imagine. They were all in white. They were going on top of the mountain so that everybody could see them. And they will start the high peak. They will go on the top of this mountain. And they'll start a new fire for a new year. And every family will get this new fire and will with this new blessing. So what happened now? If you can say about the woman. So the woman, we got everything in the world. And the Romans took it. They said, hey, we can make it part of our tradition. Then the Roman Empire ended. Christianity came along. There were new things coming. And the Pope, so we arrive at the 6th century. And the book said, these people are continuing these traditions very strong, the New Year and then the fire. We need to give it them a new meaning, continuing from this. So what he did, the Pope lived in Rome, right? In Rome, there are many, many temples and activities. But there was this big temple, which now you know, because you want to see, I know you travel, the Pantheon. The Pantheon was still there, and it's still there by the Romans. Now, Pantheon means temple of gods. Now, one God, many. So the Pope said, well, we're continuing this fundamental way of thinking, and he dedicated the Pantheon, incredible, beautiful thing, to the martyrs of Christianity. So the spirituality that was there is still continued by the Christianity, by the new spirituality. And so in the 700, something like that, he started the celebration of All Saints because it started from making this Pantheon, the church dedicated to all Christian martyrs. And since then, we're having All Saints Day, 1st of November. And it's called Halloween. But Halloween was the vigil. The name Halloween means the vigil before All Saints Day. Okay? So this is this 1st of November was well organized. Now the vigil before All Saints Day, it had again traditions, again going back into the past. What were these traditions? Again, these marvelous people, great selfish people that will celebrate, or if we have a new year, then it's very drastic. Okay, this month, the separation between summer and winter is big. It's big in the nature, so something big is going to happen. And it could be so big to happen. Well, they thought that all our ancestors, the people that precede our life, and the people that give us the foundations of our life, the moment we're going to come back. The night of the 31st of October, before All Saints Day, all the dead people were going to be again with their families. And this was the Celtic people start that was their tradition. So to kind of scare them or kind of said, okay, we love, I have something in my eyes. Okay. That some guys they will want to stay with them, but not stay too long. They will be wearing masks, right? To kind of said you can stay today, but just go back where you come from. Okay. So this tradition, what Christianity too, was going on and on and on and on. One day, not a pope, but there was a priest, an abbot, okay, that starts saying, well, they believe that the dead people are coming back to see us, so why don't we honor them? If everybody believes in something, let's not put it under the rug. Let's do the celebration. The way they celebrated was not just with the oral mass. Remember? Yeah, my Giuliano and Marcello and my Stella. They said, we're going to really pay respect. So there are in Italy right now for 1,000 years and even more. What people did on the 2nd of November, they are the most different but the same kind of the essence, the meaning of the celebration are all the same. For example, for myself, I remember the 2nd of November, we will be going to the cemetery with my grandmother front line, and because I'm a twin with my sister, we'll be embracing really grandma, each one on their side, and she will introduce us to all her friends and then all her people, the cousins, the family. And it was not a moment to cry. It was a moment to rejoice. My grandmother lost the 3 children uh, for the Spanish flu. She lost her husband during the First War. But that moment, the 2nd of November, when we would be going to the cemetery, the family followed, but we were at the front row of grandma. It was a moment to say, family goes on. Family is together. Family is going to celebrate the past and the present right now. So no tears, no cries, just a kind of gratitude for the past and the present, so we can go to the future. That sounds nice, huh? I like that. So those are, and we will be eating the food of the moment, which was chestnuts. So outside the cemetery, there were all these men selling chestnuts, roasted chestnuts. Out of the fire right there with this big pan with all holes, and everybody will get this food of the moment. So this one is just all the traditions all over Italy. Essence, the meaning is the same. Celebrate your ancestors. But the way of doing it changes. There are some places, for example, in the northern Italy, that they go to visit the cemetery, but they have a big banquet before at home. And they will leave a seat empty so the ancestor could come and enjoy the food. If they don't want to eat together, they will have their banquet, leave for the cemetery, leave all the food on the table, so the ancestor will enjoy in a long time. And there was never they probably don't want to eat with this, they want to have their own relaxing time. So as they were leaving, all the table was set for them. Again, another distance in Northern Venezia around there, what they do, they get up early in the morning. They make a nice bed. They get out from the house because now the ancestors are coming and they're going to relax in their own bed. Want no more? Sure. Down the south, they make a very spicy bread. Why is the less spicy? Why? Because as you know, when you eat the spice of the hot peppers and whatever, it makes you sometimes you have to be careful because it's very hot within, your stomach and everything. But they said it's okay because all the hot will reduce, okay, if they are not in a very nice, refreshing place, it will help the soul of our ancestors. And know that there is more. Another one, they cook. We only had with grandma we go to the cemetery, but there is in Puglia and the Italy there that they cook in the cemetery because it's the celebration of together. So it is a group, and there are thousands of other little villages, towns, big towns, that they are celebrating this common meaning. Is now with tears that you remember, is with joy, because their life left something in you. It left the color of your eyes, the color of your face, your personality, your memory. But there is nothing negative, only positive. And the big region, part of Italy, that is celebrating this memory, and probably many of you have a memory of this, is Sicily. Sicily, what all the older places have a remembrance just on the day. In Sicily, the children are putting a big basket under the bed because the soul, the presence, whatever you want it to call, of the ancestors, okay, great grandfather, the great grandmother, the great great aunt, or whatever they were, they're coming and they're bringing gifts to the children. So the children, well, we say sometimes for Christmas, or be good, otherwise Santa Claus is not bringing you anything. Don't be nutty, all right? Well, in Sicily, now this week, the parents are sent to all the children. Good. Otherwise, your great great grandmother, your grandma, your grandfather, your aunt, your uncle, your cousins, or whatever, are not going to come, and they're not going to bring any wonderful gift. So the children are expecting with anxiety, with joy, the presents. They don't see them, but they are there of their ancestors. And what their ancestors are going to bring, they're not bringing dolls or trucks or the little toys and mechanical things. No, they're bringing something to eat. What else do you want to have in life? And something sweet. So in Sicily, they are going to make the pupio zucchero, which is a sweet little figurine. The children are going to receive a frutta marturana, which is like a marzipan. These wonderful things. I remember there was a store in Assisi that was in my town, Assisi, right? That would sell the marzipan creation, which are the most incredible, unique creativity you could ever find because they can make everything from dolls to fruit vegetable to whatever. It's just color figurine, okay, with sugar. Just the colors are just incredible. They're beautiful. So that's what the children receive. So everything, all these sweet. Or in Napoli, there is a torrone. Okay, it's not the Christmas torrone because it's called il torrone dei morti. So that the children are just in this week, if we could only travel, but we can travel with our mind, they are expecting with so much happiness all these sugar, the light cookies and the little dessert, because sometimes they're not small, they're nice and big, right? From the family, but it's not just, from the store. Gift of love. This is for the children. But again, for the grown-ups, so they cannot have real dessert or sugars all the time. Otherwise, the sugar in their body goes all the way up. The children can have it because they run all day long. But, for the adults, they have to be careful. So, what do they eat? And this goes back for 2,000 years. Nothing is lost. That is, little parenthesis. Whatever we do today is not today. It goes back into the time. And if we if it is alive, if we kind of reconnect continuously with this past, because there is a symbol, there is a meaning. Otherwise, what disappears is what that kind of, you filter through the time and it disappears because it doesn't have as much of substance. These things stay because they have a meaning. So what the Romans did, and we still continue to do, to eat is fava. Fava beans. Because these fava beans, it was magical. They consider the fava beans the soul of our ancestors. So by eating them, you will glorify their memory. So the food for the children is all the sugar. For the grown-up is a zuppa di fave. If you can find sometime there is it at sure ShopRite or Stop and Shop. Sometimes they do, search for it. Or Whole Foods that's even better. They have the fava beans. Okay, they're dry. So you put them like any other beans. You put in the water, and then you make this zuppa. With it can be with cheesy beans or with all the beans or mixed together. And then you toast it in bread, and you have it all together. And this is, like for Thanksgiving, we have an egg turkey. For Christmas, you have a ham. On Sunday, you have a lasagna, right? That's the way you grew up. Okay. This week, for the celebration of what we normally call Halloween, for 2,000 years, the number one food was fava beans for the grown-ups. Okay? And it's still there today. So nothing has changed. And another thing that we do when the children receive all the sugar, and then they go out with the pumpkin. Originally, it was not the pumpkin, it was the turnip. It was because it has a kind of, but not the turnip that you see in the store today, the little one. It was a nice dimension, nice and big, right? But when the Celtic people, the Irish people came to America, they could not find the nice and big turnip. So they said, oh, it's only this pumpkin over here that we can use. So they changed and the tradition began to use, make all those monster look out from the pumpkin. And the children will go out and say trick or treat. Remember the trick or treat we grew up, and this year it's going to be a little less trick or treat, because the circumstances, but don't worry about it. It's just for a few months. Everything will come back in the normal way. You have to be patient and do the right thing. Okay, let's correct this. This again, trick and treat expression, right? And not just because somebody invented. Again, it started and all over is from Europe because Europe was exposed symbols, tradition, way of expressing yourself long before United States of America. What the children did long time ago. So now, just think of this. It is a very common thinking that this is the moment all over Europe, right? But now in Italy, that our ancestors are coming back the 31st of January. So everybody has to illuminate the way. They're carrying first the turnip, carved, they put the light inside, and then it was the pumpkin too. So they were going from house to house, the same what we did all those years, except for this year, but this is a parenthesis. And they will go to the people's house and ask, yes, it's a treat, which means if you don't give me some sweet, I will not be praying for the soul of your ancestor. That was the trick, okay? It was not to a very kind of, blackmail, if you can say, right? Give me some sweet. So I'm going to help the soul, and for yourself too, of your ancestor. I will be praying for you. So that is the meaning of trick or treat. And so this was done by children, adults, going from house to house to with their lantern, with the pumpkin, to celebrate. coming to America, it became a very colorful way for the children wearing the mask. Tradition continues. Going out with the pumpkin, tradition is continued, and we don't pray anymore soul of our ancestors, but the children are just having a good time. The essence of this game, this moment is the same. Okay? To be together with a fascinating world. Another world that Hollywood presented. But then Hollywood said, well, we cannot do all the time the stories, the they respect the ancestors and this and that. We have to make a little stories. So then they became, the horror movie, the fear, the monsters, the zombie, okay, all the extra. That is Hollywood. So it's nothing into it. That is to entertain or we want to watch a movie. The reality of it, it was an expression of gratitude and love. So the food is for this moment, for the first and the 2nd of November, is usually is very sweet. Then we have la zuppa, soup of fava beans. And then we're expressing this moment with the flour. At least this is done in Italy. Flower of the moment, the time to express Halloween and Saint Day and the 2nd of November is chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum is very rich flowers, right? Has so many petals that express all over. Because see, we're talking about Italy now, right? Eventually we will expand to another country. Every cemetery has a church. You can have a big mountain, or you can have your own space, okay, with the cross and the picture of your ancestor. And on top of that little area that you have, you can make a garden of beauty. All the flowers that you want, all year around. You just over there and you plant flowers. The flowers of this week is a chrysanthemum because it's so big. You should see, I mean, sometimes, so they're enormous, right? Why these flowers and not, for example, geranium or daisy or whatever? Because it comes from China, from Asia, and it's the China, Japan, right? It is the flower of long life. It's a flower of eternity because it has all those thousand little petals, right? And so this to commemorate, remember that the life of our ancestor will never end because we ourselves are continuing that life. Each one of us, when you have the eyes of your grandfather or grandmother or the great aunt, you're continuing their story. And there is a beautiful legend that we in Italy continue by buying and putting all those flowers in the cemetery, which is right now this week is a glorious time because they're full of colors and beauty to see. There was this legend. There was a mom, I guess she was, they're always in these legends, they're always single mom. Whatever happened to the father, who knows? So there is a single mom and she left children. So the girl, they want the mom to die because they were, I guess, was old. And so she prayed. Remember, this is a legend, okay? And I love this legend and because it's pretty story. So the little girl prays death, the goddess death, to never to take her mom. And so the death made the goddess death. In those days, you talk with them every day. It was like a normal conversation. And you said, okay, I will come to take your mom when you finish to count the petals of this flower. The flower was a chrysanthemum. So the little girl said, hmm, I'm going to, she was a smart little girl, okay? So she cut in thousand little pieces the petal of this flower. They were enormous, there were many. So when death came, she was still counting. And so the death goddess give up because the girl was smarter than her. So mama got better and everybody was happy. The legend came from Asia, Japan, from that way, just to say that this flower has the eternity of our people, of our family. So I'm going to, I hope you had a good time in discovering the meaning of Halloween. And I'm going to say again, the meaning of Halloween is just to have a deep sense of gratitude for the people that were before us. Because the people before us give it to us the reason to continue. And yes, sometimes it could happen that their reason were not connected with their own way of life. Sometimes we were imposing, sometimes they were different, but if they were, you have two choices. From the negative, you can make it positive. From the positive, you can make even better positive. So whatever it is, let's continue. And between you and I, let's continue to be together. And I wish you a very happy trick or treat. I wish you a very happy 1st of November, the 2nd of November, and the whole week. And until next week, I hope to see you again because the most important is to be together. So, ciao a tutti and see you next week. And remember to wear your mask. Did I scare you? That's Juliana.